She's so loud. Hi, guys. Welcome to Live, Learn, Let Go. My name's Jessica. I'm your hostess today, and we have a wonderful guest today, Stephen. His name always reminds me of something different, so if I pronounce it a little bit different later on, I'm sorry, Stephen, but I will keep my best to do it the way that we need to do it.
Sounds
Well,
good.
we had met on Sunday when we played a game called The Spotlight, and we decided to get together to chat a little bit more just because we did not get to know each other on the game. And it was really fun. So I just kind of want to hear what you thought about The Spotlight and, just kind of see what made you apply and how long it took you to get on the show.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it was such a quick, fun experience.
Yeah.
I loved playing this game. I wish I could have gotten to know people better. I wish I could have
Yes.
gotten to understand strategy more, but there's so many unknown factors in this game, which I think is part of the fun of it too, is that you just have to go with your first instincts and on a whim sometimes because you only have a short amount of time. But I loved it. I had been watching it. So we were on what, episode 4. I had watched the first 3 episodes of it. One of my friends that I know back from, over 10 years ago, is someone who helped create the game. And so I had seen him posting about it and had seen that they were casting. So I said, sure, like I love social strategy games. I love watching a lot of reality TV. My husband is a big board game collector and owner, and so we own a lot of kind of social strategy board games as well. And so I was like, let me put my hat in the ring and see if I have a chance to play a game like this. And so
Right.
it worked out and it was very fun.
That is so exciting. So when we were playing the game, what was your favorite part?
Um, Really just like getting to see a glimpse of everyone's little story was very fun. And I also loved like getting to try to use some of my skills. I think that I can be a very strategic minded person. I didn't get to deceive a lot. I went in thinking like I would have to lie and deceive probably at some point, but I actually played a pretty honest game because of how the chips fell during the game. But that was my favorite part was just like getting to know people and getting to use a little bit of my strategic brain.
Yeah. Did you have a strategy going into it, or did you just kind of roll with the punches?
I did have a strategy going into it. It did not work out that way because, of
What
course.
was it? What was your strategy?
So, and this I guess could be for future players if they play this. So I think it's pretty clear minus twists that once you have a group of 6 or 7, unless something goes wrong or somebody backstabs you, you can probably get your way to the end with that large group.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that I got pulled into a group, but
I
I really wanted to gun for the first or second spotlight
Yep.
to solidify a group right away and just kind of like have those names, share the names with everyone else, and then nobody really knows other than those 6 or 7 people, which is kind of what ended up happening. But that was my strategy, was saying, yeah, I'd love to be spotlight first or second. And it worked out differently than that, but I think it still worked out fine.
Yeah, you did.
I ended up rolling with the punches because I had to.
Yeah, it's almost like during that's what happened with me. My strategy went out the window, especially once I did get into Spotlight and I was Secret Spotlight. That was the worst because I was like, I only got to talk to 2 people, not
Yeah.
everybody. And that was second Spotlight. So I'm like, what the heck? No, there went all of my strategy. But what I did think did very well was just right from the start, try to get people in an alliance. And that worked for me getting me into jury because I had set up people to be in the spotlight. I had getting people into the majority vote when I was talking to people. So it kind of all worked out that we all kind of were working together. But my goal was just to at least make it to jury. I didn't want to go so far in the game.
I know, same. And I would have if it weren't for that twist.
That twist was evil. That twist was so wrong. But it was fun. And back to back twists too. I cursed us when I called that out. I'm like, I wonder if they don't have it set in stone and they just want to see how the game goes and they throw it in there when they feel like it.
Yeah,
Or if it's
absolutely.
all
I thought I was like set up very well going into that round
yeah.
because except for the twist, because I was in that group of six with you all. Unbeknownst to me, there was another group of five or six or some other combination of people. But I
Yeah.
also those trio conversations that we had, mine was with Paige and with Kelsey. Was that her name? Kelsey. And so those were the only people left in the game, were everyone that I had bonded with, the six and these other two. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. And then they announce that twist and Mike gets rid of me.
Yeah. It's so hard to choose who to get rid of, though, honestly. Like when I was the secret spotlight, I'm like, how am I supposed to choose? Because I only got to talk to two people. Like,
Yeah.
not even fair to begin with, but okay, I'm going to figure this out. So I
Yeah.
just
And
kind of paid attention to who was most talkative and who was most quiet. And I just kind of took notes. And the two most quietest people were Kelsey and were Jovi. And I didn't know which way to go. So I just chose Jovi because he was a little bit more quieter than Kelsey.
oh,
But
Jovo. Yeah,
yeah,
Jovo.
could you imagine if I chose Kelsey though? What would have happened?
That would have been that would have changed the whole game.
That Kelsey and Tay knew each other.
Yeah,
Would have
that
been
would have been
insane. That would have
crazy.
changed everything, but we'll never know.
You'll never know.
So much fun. I'm glad we played the game. I'm glad we got to meet, and I'd like to play another little silly game with you if that's okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so remember when you used to play 20 questions when you met someone as a kid and you just got to know them that way? Well,
Yeah.
we're going to do that adult style.
Okay. I'll try to have these rapid fire answers. I'm such an indecisive person sometimes, but I'm trying to
That's
work on actually clinging to an answer and saying it. So I'll stick with my guns.
okay. So number one, if you were a vegetable, what would you be and why?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough one to start with. I would be I'm gonna say zucchini because it's the first thing that came to mind because I like zucchini. I think that with a little time and the right type of cooking, they soften up a little and can be tasty and absorb flavor in different ways.
I love that. That was perfect. Okay. What is your most irrational fear?
One of them is that I don't have too big of a fear of it. Like I will let myself like have blood drawn and stuff, but I have this like weird fear of like my veins.
Oh,
Like, oh my gosh, like what if I accidentally like I don't know, washing my knives in the dishes and I like accidentally cut myself open and die because of blood loss.
that's not too irrational, but I can see why it's a little bit ridiculous of washing that. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's scary. That's part of, yeah, that's a funny little fear. Okay. If animals could talk, which one would be the rudest?
Oh, the rudest is
Wow.
probably I think that the stray cats in different neighborhoods would probably be really freaking rude. Like they
Yeah.
think that they own my backyard. Like there's one that walks by every day. I'm like, this is not your home. I'm sorry if you have been displaced from your home at some point, but that was not my fault. But I feel like they would be sassy and rude.
Yeah. Sassy and rude. I like that. That's true. Okay. If your personality were a flavor of ice cream, what would it be called?
Oh, what would it be called? Okay, it has to have chocolate in it because I'm a big chocolate lover.
There you go.
But I think mine would be something like, oh my God, I don't know. Gosh, I'm so not creative. I'll say like, I
I
don't
like
know.
a vanilla swirl kind of cut. Like,
Yeah,
not a
I definitely need something chunky in it too. Like I love having chunks and swirls. So I'll say like, I don't know, chunky. Chunky chocolate because
there.
it means there's something else in it. There's layers to it, just
Yes.
like I have layers.
And you have to bite into it to find out what. There you go. Okay. If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends assume you did?
Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm a pretty straight-laced person, but I think that they would probably think with no explanation. They would probably think I got into some fight. I don't know. Like, I'm not a violent person, but if I get passionate about an issue, I will argue with someone, if I feel it's necessary.
Got it. Okay. So now we'll get on to the more basic ones. I wanted to give a couple complicated ones in there just to give us a little different, perspective of your personality. Okay. So what's your favorite color?
I love yellow.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
Oh my God, I love so many foods. So I am gonna say, oh my gosh. I'll just say a broad category of dim sum because that incorporates many dishes, but going to dim sum and having all the dishes there is my favorite.
There you go. What's your favorite animal?
My dog who is sleeping next to me right now.
What kind of dog is it?
He's a mix because he was adopted, but he's mostly Cocker Spaniel, Pit Bull, and Hound, like Beagle mix.
Oh, how cute. What's his name?
His name's Bruce.
Bruce. Oh, how cute. I love that. My very first boyfriend's name was Bruce.
Oh.
What is your dream vacation spot?
I have always wanted to go to China. I'm half Chinese and have never been. My
Cool.
parents have been just on different trips, and my sister has been when she was in school, but I have never gotten to go myself, so I would love to go one day.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Okay. What makes you laugh the most?
Oh, half. I find a lot of joy, and I'll say I've been laughing out loud at some different TV shows lately. Like I love watching comedies.
Yeah.
My husband would say I should have said he was the answer, but I like to say that he is not as funny as he thinks he is. Um, but yeah, I love to laugh at, I love to find good, funny TV.
There you go. If you won $1 million, what would you buy first?
Um, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have a big purchase that comes to mind, to be honest. Like I am someone who maybe it's because my husband is very frugal and likes to save money and like is very invested in
Yeah.
like how we invest our money. But I think that, we would a vacation. I'll say that. Like I would probably
Trip
go
to
on a
China.
nice vacation, take him on a nice vacation, maybe my parents or family. But that would probably be it for the first thing.
Okay. And last one is what is your favorite childhood memory?
Oh gosh. Favorite. I have to pick a favorite.
Yeah.
Huh.
One of your favorites. How about
One of my favorites. Gosh, again, remember I said I'm really indecisive. Now I'm like trying to remember any of them and think through them.
that?
I will say, oh gosh. I love all the times we got to hang out with my grandparents. Yeah, like it's not a specific memory, but like looking back, I look back very fondly on like my parents, sister, and grandparents. I got my tattoo here for my grandma after she passed, and so yeah, that's just looking back at all the fun memories.
Yeah. So speaking of memories, do you remember wanting to do what you're doing right now as a kid with your PhD and your current career? We can kind of
Um,
transition into your career.
Actually, it's funny to look all the way back because
Yeah.
as I became like an adult in college and stuff, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to do something professional or like business like or a lot of my friends in college were pre-med or pre-law or going into business or like doing
Yeah.
something like a little more professionalish and higher education and student affairs that I worked in for over 15 years now isn't like a career a lot of people think about going until they get to college.
All right.
But as a kid, yes, I actually always used to say I wanted to be a teacher. And so while I am not a teacher in the formal sense, I teach workshops and trainings and classes, and I facilitate a lot of different things for staff and faculty and formerly students when I was working in student affairs. So I have gotten a little taste of it and have at least gotten to be in the education setting for my whole career.
That's awesome. So what is your current career title? Like what is your official job title that you do?
Official job title is an education and engagement specialist. I work under the HR human resources umbrella on a team that's called culture and team development. So we help people think through what our environments and cultures look like at work and how can we make them better to have people feel like they belong, to have people feel like they're thriving, and to have people feel like they can be successful and full people in the workplace.
That's so cool. Do you love your job?
I love it. Yeah, it has been very rewarding to be able to have some of those conversations that we don't often pause to have in the workplace. Like we are busy people and people are just like doing their jobs, but we don't often think about how are we interacting? How are leadership setting the tone top down? How do we give feedback? How do we receive feedback? How do we
Yeah.
talk to each other and let each other show up as our authentic selves?
Yeah. So how long did it take you to get your PhD?
It was 5 years.
Really? Where did you go?
I went to the Ohio State University, which is the shirt I was wearing. Actually, when I was on the spotlight, I had my Ohio State shirt on because usually someone knows about Ohio State or has a connection to it. So that was
Yeah,
actually purposeful. I was like, someone might have a connection here, so let me wear this shirt and have them see it in case there's an Ohio connection.
very clever because I have family that's from Ohio. So my parents grew up in Columbus, Ohio. So if you had a connection with Ohio and I did see your shirt, I just never got to mention it to you in a one-on-one. We never had a chance to.
Yeah, it
I,
goes so
I
fast, but yeah.
definitely, it definitely worked for me because I noticed the Ohio and I was gonna be like, what is this Ohio for?
Yes, I love
I
that.
have been to
That's
Ohio.
why I wish there was more time too in the game. Like I lived in Atlanta. I went to college in Atlanta and lived there for about 8 years total. And Jason, who I think you're doing an episode with, like lives in Atlanta. And so like we connected on Instagram after, and I was like, I really wanted to connect with you about
He's so
Atlanta.
awesome. Yeah.
And Drake, who got eliminated first, so we didn't get to know him at all. But like he lives in
Trying to get him
Louisiana.
to do an
And
episode.
I moved here to St. Louis from New Orleans, and so I wanted to make the Louisiana connection with him, but I just like never got to.
And you know what? That's the thing is like if it was like actual Big Brother, because in my mind, this is basically Big Brother sped up into 3 hours. That's the way
Yeah,
I kind of look at it. Like you're getting to know someone as quickly as you possibly can, and then you have to make a decision. In Big Brother, it's more drawn out. So we would have had more time for conversations. We would have gotten to know each other a lot more. And then these alliances would have been completely different. You
oh,
know,
absolutely.
like we would have, it's just a different dynamic, but the game is so interesting that they do that. They make it so interesting to see what, like, I'm sure people are wondering what happened after. Are these people talking? Like everybody's like, is Jessica mad at Kelsey? And I'm like, no, I'm not mad at Kelsey. I messaged her on Instagram and asked her to come on my podcast too. Like it's just a game.
Yeah, yeah. It's so weird to think about all those layers of it.
Yeah, I really do hope that they do some kind of something like this where they talk to people afterwards. It would be so cool to do, like a little reunion show or something. That would be awesome. Maybe
Yeah,
in
just
the
to
future
get
we can do
hear what
something.
people were thinking in the moment, because it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, you don't even know what everyone's thinking. Like I had no idea who was in certain conversations or what had been said. And so it's hard to
yeah.
know. I only knew I had my things written down, like these are my two alliances, and I just have to roll with that because I don't have a choice.
Well, and the game's so fast paced that I kept screwing up who was in the alliance when I was trying to talk to Day. I was like, wait, it's da, da, da. I was like, because I threw my papers up in the air because of all the screenshots. This is ridiculous. But
Yeah.
anyways, so did you ever, when you were younger, picture yourself doing a show, like being on TV, doing anything like this?
No, I am in my like day-to-day life, I'm probably a little more reserved than I come across in one-on-one conversations, in the classes I teach, on Instagram, because I have like a food Instagram, and so I
Oh,
make videos and I like go eat and like talk a lot on camera. I'm
yeah.
also a spin instructor, and so I get up on a microphone and I teach like exercise classes every week. But in general, I've always been a little bit more reserved than that. And so I never pictured it until I feel like it was actually pandemic times where I was like, okay, like let me like put myself out there, try something new.
Yeah,
The world was in a reset. And so I was like, let me do that. And that's when I started applying to Survivor every year.
right.
And so yeah, I do picture it now like that.
I
I
could
would
totally see you
love
on Survivor.
to be on a reality show. Survivor has always been my favorite from season one. And so yeah, that's I picture it now, but as a in my childhood. Absolutely not. Even like loving Survivor in those early seasons and Big Brother and The Challenge and Amazing Race and every show, I never really thought, oh, I should do that.
Right.
But now I do.
Now you totally should. I could see you on Survivor. You would totally kill it. I can see you squatting already and talking to the camera. That would be so cool. You definitely should keep applying. Have you been applying?
I've applied every year since 2020. I've gotten a first call. I don't know if you're, I don't think I'm supposed to say that, but I have gotten through a round or two of the casting process.
Yay.
Not, but there's like probably 50 rounds of the casting process. So
Yeah.
I know I was nowhere close, but it made me feel good that someone watched my video and gave me a call at least.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like the most rewarding. That's the hardest part is the videos, like making the videos, standing out from the crowd and getting the call back. Once you get the call back, you know that they're super interested in you. It's only a matter of time before you end up on the show.
Yeah.
So that's good news. Well, what inspired you to pursue your PhD? And
Um,
what is your PhD in and what made you want to pursue it?
yeah, so it's in higher education specifically. So it's all about, which is I guess when we think about other fields, it's a mishmash of sociology, social psychology, counseling, educational history and theory and background, adolescent kind of understanding of like college students and who they are and their identities and formation in terms of identity and everything like that. So it's a lot of different things and law and policy, everything that it takes to do that, work in higher education. Um, but yeah, I wanted to pursue it because at the time, like my career mattered more to me than it does now. Like as I look back, like I have let go in a good way of some of the aspirations that I thought I needed to have to be successful. I going into student affairs as a field, especially myself and a lot of us thought, okay, I want to be a dean of students one day, or I need to be a vice president of student affairs, or work my way up to be a higher up leader.
Mhm.
But I don't want that anymore. I enjoy kind of being in the middle. Like I have worked at, four or five universities in different capacities. And
What
that
was
was,
your favorite university that you worked at?
oh gosh, it's hard to pick a favorite because I truly cherish all of my experiences at all of them.
Yeah.
I think I mean, my first one was a branch campus of the college I went to. I attended Emory University in Atlanta, and they
Yeah.
have a branch campus called Oxford College.
Okay.
And that was a truly special experience. I worked in like housing and residence life, so I actually lived on campus in one of the residence halls with the students,
So cool.
which was, of course, a nightmare sometimes because I was the one responding to emergencies. I was the one on call if anything happened. But I
Yeah.
also got to like be immersed on this campus in all of the events and student life that was happening to. That's where I met Alex Day, who is helps with the spotlight and helped create it. He was a student that like lived in one of the residence halls at the college I worked at, and so it's funny how life happens sometimes.
That's incredible. What was the most rewarding moment during your PhD journey?
Finishing it. It
It's,
was a journey for sure. A very tough one with lots of tears and lots of late nights and ups and downs of emotion. And I was a graduate assistant in an office there at the time, but then took on a full-time job in the middle of that as well. And so I started working full-time while trying to finish my PhD. And yeah, so finishing was so rewarding. I just remember the relief and release that
Mhm.
my body physically felt when they said I passed my dissertation defense. That was so rewarding and fun little story, especially because you are familiar with Columbus.
Yeah.
You probably know that Jenny's Ice Cream started in Columbus, Ohio, and now has, of course, become a nationwide thing and is everywhere. But I have always been a big fan of Jenny's. My husband and I met at Ohio State, and always did our date nights at Jenny's. And Jenny herself, like the person named Jenny and her team actually showed up and surprised me after my PhD dissertation defense with ice cream for everyone who was around. There's a
That's
video
so
of me somewhere on
amazing.
their Instagram bawling my eyes out and like saying like, is that Jenny? Like, what is happening? Because I just went through this 5-year journey and somehow it got capped off with them making this video about how Jenny's it was this social media campaign for them that was like Jenny's makes it better. So it was like Jenny's gonna be there for you to celebrate the sad times, but also the happy times. Like let's celebrate
Yeah,
with Jenny's.
that is adorable. So they took you and made a commercial out of it, and you didn't even know.
Yeah, I did not even
See,
know.
you're on TV back then. You're just met for TV. Some people are just like that. So, speaking of your dissertation, what was your dissertation about, and how long did that take you to do? Because I've heard that's the most stressful part of all.
Yeah, that is definitely a long journey. You got to write it just one paragraph and one word at a time. It took me, it's hard to remember exactly how long because I started working full time. And then, oh yeah, and then I moved cities and jobs actually in the middle of all of that too.
Mhm.
So I put off my dissertation for a year. Like I could have probably finished the program in 4 years total, but I moved from Columbus down to New Orleans for another job. And
Yeah.
so it took me another extra year. So it's probably about a year and a half total to kind of do the research, gather all the data, analyze everything, write it all out, write the proposal, meet with my advisor and committee, and then schedule
Oh,
that defense at the end. So it was a long journey.
over here getting tense for you. I'm like, oh gosh, that's a lot of research, a lot of work, but I'm sure it's the most rewarding thing ever. Did it affect your mental health at all? I'd like to
Oh
chat with
yeah,
you a bit about mental.
100%. I mean, grad school in general did. I I would say mental and physical health
Yeah.
too. Yeah, I definitely just felt. And it was, as I look back on it, a lot of it was pressure maybe that I internalized. It wasn't necessarily external. Some of it I'm sure was like, yeah, we had to write well and get good grades and everything still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I internalized that in a way because I was like such an achiever. That's like a word I use to describe my former self is like I always had a next goal in mind. I always wanted to be the A student. I always wanted to be perfect. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, that did take a toll on me because I was anxious about getting a bad grade or feeling down about, starting a paper sometimes would be hard. And physically, I was not exercising, I was not eating well. Um, and so, yeah, and sorry if this is getting ahead, but like some of that turned around for me. There was one summer, what year is it? 2026. It was probably 9 years ago now. So like 2020 or 2017, that summer, I was like, okay, something has to change here. Like, and for 1 month, I committed to a 1 month membership at like the local spin cycling gym
Yeah.
and eating healthy for 1 month on this program called Whole30, which is like a paleo kind of diet.
Yep. I've
Um,
actually done that before.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that month changed my life. Like I lost about 30 pounds, which and that's it's not about the weight loss, but I as I look back, I recognize how not unhealthy I was, but just how much I had not prioritized my health and my body, and which impacts your mind. And so I have been spinning ever since. I'm now have been an instructor for 7 years. I continue to incorporate at least some healthy eating and balance in my eating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I certainly felt impacted by the PhD journey and have gotten to like turn that around since then.
That's awesome. So, if you had to give any advice to anybody who is currently going through a PhD program and is struggling mentally, what would you give advice for them? If somebody
Yeah,
is watching, you know.
I would say a couple of things. One, I would say find that outlet for you, whether that's with friends, socially, a form of exercise, a pet, like a partner, whoever or whatever that is, find an outlet that is something outside of your school and your work,
Yeah.
however, whatever you're doing in that. The other thing I would say is that it's not that serious.
Yeah.
Like it's not life or death. Some days will feel that way when there are deadlines and pressures to finish things, and especially when there's, grants and money on the line, like the pressure, I get that. But at the end of the day, like you will finish this. It's one step at a time. You have support, I hope. If you don't, find that support and find that outlet. But at the end of the day, really, it's not that serious. It will get done.
Yeah.
Well, and
Okay.
something people always told me was like, people have done this before you and people will do this after you. So like you can do this.
Was there anybody who was your biggest support system while you were in college and you were going through some of these hard times? Who was your biggest support system that you could lean on during that time?
Yeah, in my PhD program, especially, that's when I met my husband actually. And but the second year of my program is when he started his first year of his master's degree in the same at the same university and the same program. So he was definitely a huge support, just as started out as, friends and then dating and then turned into more, of course.
Yeah.
So he was my fellow cohort mates. Like there was 6 or 7 of us in my cohort that started together in the PhD, and so it was always good to like lean on each other, stress together, have a drink together, like let it out when we needed to.
That's awesome. So, does anything from college still affect you today? Like any PTSD moments, anything that still lingers around that really just still affects you that you just can't let go of?
Um, hmm. And you mean from PhD time or college,
Just
college?
college in general, because I'm sure. How long was your whole college journey from the time you started to the time you got your PhD? Like,
Yeah, so I was in college for 4 years. I did a 1 year master's degree after that. I worked for several years professionally and then did that 5 year PhD journey as well.
wow,
Um,
good 10 years of your life of college.
yes, and I still work at a university, so I have been on a college campus for 21 years now. Since I went to college as a freshman and have continued to work at them, it has been 21 years. Um, but yeah, I think like things that linger with me. No, I mean nothing that like still sits with me in a terrible way. Certainly, like, there's lots of moments that I can reflect back on as an older person and as someone who, has been able to work through different things and process through different things and has counseled many students and worked through things with them.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I think about some of like the bosses I had in not as a student though, but like when I was like working and in my PhD program,
yeah,
that like, they weren't my favorite bosses. I learned what I did not want to be because of them. And at the same time, I was very fortunate in my first professional job at Oxford College to have just the best role model in both my kind of supervisor and the dean of our school were just really
yeah.
wonderful people that taught me how to be a wonderful person to our students and to the world.
That's awesome. I'm so happy you found your career, you found your thing in life, and you've been kicking butt at it. What do you do for fun? We'll wrap it up with your hobbies and what do you do for fun and what's a day to day look like for Steven.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's weird to think like the two things I have fun with outside of full-time work are also things that are kind of part-time jobs. So the spin instructor thing, like I love exercise, and so I have been teaching and taking spin classes for, like I said, about 9 years. And so I get to do that a few times a week. I am the one who gets to choose the music and put the playlist and all the programming, and I get to decide what kind of choreography and moves we're going to do on the bike. And so I love music. I love listening to music and putting that together for my classes and the people in my classes. So I love doing that. I've also recently got into running. And like I mentioned, I guess on the spotlight, I'm training for my first half marathon right now. And so that has been a tough but fun outlet to find a new form of exercise that challenges my body.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other thing I do is I love to eat. I love to eat good food. I love to try new restaurants. I run a food Instagram, and so
What is your Instagram so people can find
it
you?
is Stephen Eats STL. So it's specifically about the St. Louis area and kind of uplifting and supporting local restaurants and businesses here. And I have run that page actually as of today. It was 8 years ago when I was living in New Orleans that I started this food Instagram. And I thought, hey, why don't I just start posting food pictures, not thinking anything of it? And it has turned into a little side gig because people ask me to make content for them sometimes, and people invite me into restaurants, and I get an occasional paid opportunity through it, which is very fun. But the heart of it for me is not about money or followers or in like going viral. It is the heart of supporting and discovering new businesses
Yeah.
in this city that I have called home now.
And you get to try some amazing food and you get to
Yeah,
foodie around the city of St. Louis. And I'm so jealous because I heard they have some incredible restaurants out there.
we
What is
do.
your favorite one that you've ever? I know it's going to be hard to choose, but you got to give me at least
Yes.
top three. Top
Okay.
three of the best ones in St. Louis. So if anybody's ever looking, they know where to go.
Absolutely. Top three. One of them is called Mainlander. It is what the two owners, who are a couple, they describe as pop and pop. So as like instead of mom and pop, they are a gay couple who run like this elevated Midwestern kind of homey cuisine with some Asian flair to some of the dishes, mostly Chinese. And it is just every dish is so good, and their drinks are good. Like, and they are the most wonderful people. So I love them. A restaurant called Louis, which is up actually right now for a James Beard finalist award for best hospitality in the nation. Because truly their hospitality and their people are wonderful.
Yeah.
And the James Beard Awards, just for you or anyone watching that doesn't know, that's like the Oscars of food, basically, is like these nationwide awards that get given to these chefs and these restaurants. So they're up for a hospitality award. So Louis, and then a restaurant called Sado. It is a Japanese restaurant, Sado, and they have some great raw dishes and just wonderful Japanese food that I love.
Nice. That's so awesome. So, what is something that you do when you're having a bad day? Like you just had a really terrible day. What's something that you can do besides things that you've already mentioned, that just you would do to, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought.
No, I
Getting
heard the question.
stuck in a bubble. What is something that you do when you're having a bad day to really help yourself get better?
Yeah, I mean, I'll usually sit around, watch some TV, hang out with my husband, hang out with my dog, like
Yeah.
just kind of decompressing is what helps me come down from whatever the bad moment or bad day was. Is like I just need some time to rest. I need to go
Yeah.
have a good meal. I need to go have a drink. I need to have my glass of wine. I need to
Yes.
take a nap. I need to put my show on, something that'll just bring me like that little moment of joy to kind of decompress from it all.
Awesome. So, what's your favorite go-to show? Top three.
Great question. I'll say the current watches, because of course it changes seasonally and as things come and go. We are currently loving Hacks on HBO. They are wrapping up their final season, which is very sad, but it is a very funny and very wonderful show on HBO. Survivor season 50's got its finale next week, so of course I am watching and loving this season, and it has been so fun to watch these players that, I met on TV 25 years ago is when Survivor started, and they had someone from season one on this season. And so it
Yeah.
is so crazy to think about me as a kid watching this person, her growing up, and all these characters that we've seen. So of course Survivor. And then I'll say, what else am I watching? Oh, St. Dennis Medical is a great, like, I love those quick comedy shows like The Office, Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
Superstore, and a current one that just finished its second season is St. Dennis Medical. It is so funny and so good.
Awesome. What's your favorite style of music? You did mention music being a big part of your life. So what's your go-to music?
In general, I'm a big pop girly, as they say. I love a lot of mainstream stuff. I
Yeah.
have been to, 4 Taylor Swift concerts, 3 Beyonce concerts. Like, I love the big pop stars. But I also love a lot of EDM music because that's the best music to exercise to. So I listen to a lot of different DJs who do remixes and kind of play more of the electric and synthy, poppy kind of stuff too. So yeah, I would say both of those.
Dang. So, when we first started playing this game, we only kind of had our looks to go off of. You know what I mean? You just look at someone and you have to decide if you want to work with them or not. When I first looked at you, wasn't trying to judge, but I never would have guessed that any of that was inside of you. So I'm so glad that we got to chat and we got to know a little bit more about you. But I want you to have the final word because I don't like to. So anything else you'd like to say for anybody out there listening?
Oh gosh, I will say I'll riff off on what you were just saying. Like, it is so easy for any of us to judge a book by its cover. Like, we can easily say the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover, but it is a natural psychological phenomenon to have bias. All of
Yeah.
us have bias inside of us that we sometimes act on and sometimes don't.
Yeah.
But I think it's great to ask people questions, get to know people. I am a huge proponent of getting to know people's stories and understanding who they
Yeah.
are and what makes them tick, which I obviously is what we are doing here. And so I would give that advice to anyone is ask the question, don't assume anything about them because you never know what could come from that.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to come and chat with me. It's been such a pleasure. I like to end everything with my catchphrase of peace, love, and buttercups. So I was wondering if you'd love to end that with me.
Peace, love, and buttercups. I love that.
Cups. All right. So on three, two, one, I do peace, love, and buttercups.
All right.
All right. Peace,
Peace,
love,
love, and
buttercups.
buttercups.
Thank you, Steven.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everybody.